Hi, welcome to my video on the quadrilateral chart. What I mean by the quadrilateral chart is that this page has all the quadrilaterals that we discussed. So just a slight review or a quick review of the quadrilaterals and its properties. A quadrilateral is a convex polynomial with four sides. This is a quadrilateral with four sides and is convex. It's convex because all the diagonals that we draw, there's two of them, one there, one there. These quadrilaterals are, these diagonals are on the inside, so it's a convex polygon with four sides. And what we discussed first was a polygon, right? Convex polygons. But if you branch out and make the opposite sides parallel like this, then you have a parallelogram. And a parallelogram, by definition, has two pairs of opposite sides parallel. But we also know with a parallelogram that the opposite angles are equal. We also know that the opposite sides are equal. And we also know that the diagonals bisect each other, meeting at the same point. They all both have the same midpoint. If you take a parallelogram and go further, so if you take a parallelogram and make a right angle, then you get a rectangle. Or a rectangle could be classified as a quadrilateral with four right angles. So the properties of a rectangle are also the properties of a parallelogram, in that opposite sides are parallel to each other. Opposite sides are equal. The diagonals bisect each other. And also, the opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal. These two angles are equal. And these two angles are equal, the same in a rectangle. Well, they're all equal, so the opposite ones have to be equal. But the only difference with a rectangle is that it has a right angle, and the diagonals not only bisect each other at this midpoint, but the diagonals are equal in a rectangle. And let's move on. A rhombus. A rhombus has four sides equal. So a rhombus is a parallelogram with, in a parallelogram, the opposite sides are equal, but in a rhombus, all the sides are equal. So a parallelogram with two adjacent sides equal makes a rhombus. Because if the two adjacent sides are equal and the opposite sides are equal, then they're all equal. And a rhombus has all the properties of a parallelogram. The diagonals bisect each other. This is the midpoint. Opposite angles are equal. Opposite sides are parallel. Opposite sides are equal, etc., etc. And if you put them all together, if you take a parallelogram and give it a right angle, and you make the adjacent sides equal, then a parallelogram with a right angle and two adjacent sides equal forms a square. If you take a rhombus and make, which has all the sides equal, and give a rhombus a right angle, a rhombus with a right angle is a square. Also, if you take a rectangle, which has right angles, but a rectangle has opposite sides equal, but if you take a rectangle and make the adjacent sides equal, then you have a square. So a rhombus with a right angle is a square. A rectangle with adjacent sides equal is a square. And a square is what we call, a square is a regular quadrilateral. And that is, all angles are equal and all sides are equal in a square. So a rhombus got all sides equal. A rectangle got all angles equal. So when you put the two of them together, all sides equal and all angles equal, you have a square. A square is a regular quadrilateral. And that means, oh, I forgot to mention that in a rhombus, the diagonals are not equal, but the diagonals bisect the angles. Like these angles are equal. Opposite angles are equal and they bisect. So this angle right here is equal to this one, and this angle right here is equal to this one. And this angle is equal to this one, and this angle here is equal to this one. And a square has all the properties of a parallelogram, all the properties of a rectangle. A square has all the properties of a rhombus. And a parallelogram has both pairs of opposite sides parallel. So, but a trapezoid, trapezium, only has one pair of sides parallel. So when you have a quadrilateral with only one pair of parallel sides, these pair are not parallel, we have a trapezoid. An isosceles trapezoid has one pair of sides parallel only, but the legs are equal. Isosceles means like an isosceles triangle has two sides equal, so a trapezoid has the two legs equal. And in a right isosceles, in a right trapezoid, we have a right angle. If we have one right angle, we have two right angles because we have parallel lines, and it's perpendicular to one of the parallel lines is also perpendicular to the other. So a right trapezoid has a pair of right angles, and the other pair are not right angles. So note, the trapezoid has one pair of opposite sides parallel, one pair of opposite sides parallel, one pair of opposite sides parallel, but a right trapezoid has a right angle, and an isosceles trapezoid has the legs equal. And the other trapezoid, the last one to discuss, is a kite. And a kite has adjacent sides equal. There they are. These adjacent sides are equal, but none of the sides are parallel to each other. And in a kite, this is the long diagonal. So that long diagonal bisects this angle and this angle. It bisects this angle and this angle. And if you draw the short diagonal, the long diagonal bisects the short one, cuts the short one in two equal pieces, and the long one is perpendicular to the short one. So a kite has two pairs of adjacent sides equal with no parallel sides. That's why we say a rhombus has two pairs of adjacent sides equal, because they're all equal, but they have parallel sides. So a rhombus is not a kite because they got parallel sides. So that's just a review of all the types of quadrilaterals that we discussed. And again, a quadrilateral is a convex polygon. That means all the diagonals are on the inside. A concave polygon is like this. Let me extend that further. This is a concave polygon. Notice there's four sides, but this diagonal going from here to here is outside. So that's a concave. We're talking about convex polygons. So if you like my video on the chart, then click on the like button, the subscribe button, visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. The content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.